live on Twitch. YouTube takes its time all the time for some reason. Okay, looks like we're live everywhere. Good morning. Picking up right where we left off last time. So, let me just clear this. I've checked in on my changes from before, which were working on the settings dialog. So the settings dialog exists, but there's no way to open it. Or I guess there's no way to close it because it's just open all the time. So that's where we're up to. User settings, show and hide settings is next. So let's get on with that, shall we? Nope, let me scroll this up a little so that you can see if you're new that I'm working on. Oh, should I see who I am? Yeah, why not? All right, let me just put this tea bag over here. Okay, I'll start from the beginning. A sip of tea. Introducing myself. If you have not heard me before, I'm David from Fertile Pixel. I'm trying to make about 4 little games this year. In what little shreds of spare time I have. Current game is Family Tree, which is a little puzzle game about getting the pictures back into the right place in a family tree. In a family tree album. Currently working on the settings system. I'm still in the prototyping phase, maybe could call it the alpha phase. Just getting all of the systems in place and fixing any major bugs that block the game being fun. Last time I added this volume slider in this settings dialog, which is literally just overlaid over the book graphic. And I've considered moving the menus to be in world space over the main game area. I'm not sure whether I'll change to doing that, but so far it's just... Oh, excuse me. It's very early. So far it's just on this dialog here. So, showing and hiding settings, we need some sort of button. So I guess I'll pop a button in here. And this could just be a X button. Just get the text on that updated. Put the letter X. But I think it's better if I have a graphic on that would be the best. But let me just see if I can find a multiply symbol. This is whatever I had open last time. Just copy that in because that will look better. Great. Can probably style this button to not look too looks like 32 would be a good Not sure what happened with my tabbing there. All right, this whole thing can go in the corner. Let's say there. All right, and then all that should need to do is add the settings dialog. So I guess I need a bit of code to do that. I think, have I got anything for the UI manager? Yes, I have. So let's do it in there. There. Just open that UI manager script. And I've got it being a singleton. And just, it's not the enter key. Remove my keyboard. I'll just set it to typing across between serialized field and a keyboard. Just encode this exactly the same as the other one, just to get that dialog, and there we go. Would I complete the other stuff? So now I can go here. Give that a moment to compile the scripts. It's taking a lot more than a moment right there, which I did not expect. So what's going on there? Basically just need to drag the settings dialog into here. And then I need to make sure this function is called on that button. So settings dialog goes there. And on-click for this close button needs a new action that is going to be UI manager and show settings dialog, and leave that unchecked for false. Okay, that should be able to now hide that dialog, but I also need to show it. So actually grab this button, copy that, and see if I can paste a copy somewhere. Just wondering where. And I'll just paste it right here. There, so I've got now a close button, which I'm going to change to an open settings button. That will show the settings dialog. And I'll just grab this and hide it. Now we don't see that settings button there, and it's primarily because it just does not have a canvas to live on. What is with this position? I wonder if to what extent that matters. I just create a canvas. Grab myself a UI panel here. It's not supposed to be nested under that. Let me just bring that out to there. No, I don't have a canvas for that, do I? I think I just put it underneath whatever canvas. Anyway, I want to make a canvas that is in world space. I'll call it book UI canvas for the moment because it's meant to overlay over this book. And right now it's in screen space overlay, so I want to move it to world space using main camera. And I think now if I take that settings button, put it on that canvas, and move it down into this corner, yeah, now we actually see it there, so that's good. Just bring that canvas down to here. So that button is not properly positioned for that. I guess I want that just to be sort of on the page there. The text size on that is going to need to be very different. Font size, more like about there. So something, let's see, 8 looks fine. Wow, that button looks really pixelated. Pixels per unit. Multiplier, that's going to be it. And we don't want it to say settings on there. We want like a cog icon. I don't know if I have a cog icon, but let's just try something. Settings key. Did that insert into that? I believe it did, and it's not rendering there or there. So let's go with that for the moment. Yeah, 4 might be good. There, so now we have something. Not ideal, but it is a button. And what does it do? It should show the settings dialog. Let's just see if that works. Yeah, there was something that was happening last time. I was just trying to get the scaling of that book background on the settings dialog to work properly so that it would always show the whole main book area. So that volume's a bit loud. Let me just grab these settings, turn it down. Did that go to 50% volume right from the start? I feel like that was at 100% volume, then it went to 50% volume when I opened the settings. And last time I wrote some code that's supposed to set the volume on start here. Yeah, okay. Well, that needs loading from user settings anyway. But this script is not going to be active if the dialog, the settings dialog is not active. So that can't really live here. It would have to live somewhere else for it to pick up those settings at the start. But I think I'll let me think about that a moment. That is part of the settings system, but I will be working on save and load soon. So there are two parts to save and load things to look at. One is when you open the game, automatically loading things from user settings, and another one is there's a way to manually save and load a game. I don't think I'll do any manual save and load. I think I'll just do loading current settings and progress. Look at when the game's started. So I guess that I'll tackle that when I tackle this here. So yeah, for the moment, that to do will be somewhere else. And let me just grab that one here because I need another to do. There we go. So this script is about the user interface. So yeah, just needs a separate script to actually control that volume. I might do that right now, actually. Oh yeah, I was in the middle of testing that works. So this should close, and I should be able to open the settings and close them. Goes back to sort of where I was. on the level. Let me just get a debug canvas showing. So I can regenerate a level there just to kick off level 1 and just see how that interacts. Zoom into here. Yeah, that is actually really annoying though, having to go up here. I can't see the settings unless I'm there. So I think really the way this debug canvas is set up, that's a bit more appropriate for that settings button in particular. Yeah, I better change that. There we go. Completed the level. Ooh, next one. More challenging. This is wrong on purpose. Let's go that way. Alright, I'm going to stop that one. And so this will just be like a HUD canvas instead. It's up display, so it will move with the camera, which means I want it in here. And what is that anyway? It's literally just a game object. Yeah, I could put anything in there. Doesn't matter, but what's with the position? That's the position of UI Manager. And those are all positioned at 0, 0, 0. Which means I don't know what that means. Actually, it probably doesn't matter at all what position that game object has, because that game object is in world space. And these are screen space. What's the difference between screen space overlay and screen space camera? I'm curious and I'm going to look it up. Unity UI. Now I have to be careful here because there are two UI systems. Unity.UI. So if I read the wrong one, it might not tell me the right information. Let me just check. Did I just read you cannot use Unity UI to create or change user interfaces in the Unity editor? Does that mean that you can't do what I'm doing here in the Unity editor, tinkering with it? Or does that saying you can't use it to like make your own inspector panel or something? Anyway, let's have a look what these differences are. On the screen, rendered on top of the screen. The screen is resized or changes resolution, the canvas will automatically change size to match this. Okay. Similar to screen space overlay, but in this render mode, the canvas is placed a given distance in front of a specified camera. UI elements are rendered by this camera. Okay. If the camera is set to perspective, the UI elements will be rendered with perspective. Well, looks like for my purpose, doing a 2D game, there's no difference. And I think that's good enough for what I wanted to know. Okay, so we've got this now. We can pop that settings button. Oh, first of all, that settings button can be bigger now. Text can be bigger. Is it not big enough there? I don't want it to be very big. I just put it like up in the corner of the screen. Oh, wait. Right, yeah. So, can I just anchor that to the top right? And if things change, it's still there. Maybe that will do it. So how am I going for time here this morning? Okay, I'm listening. I can actually, even without listening, I can have a look at this background music. Volume 0.3. Actually, the main camera. There we go, the audio listener. I can't actually see its volume here. Wait. Anyway, hit this settings button. That definitely got quieter, so that makes sense. That's expected. Oh, I see. This main camera, I can zoom in and out on the main camera while this is open because there's nothing to stop that from happening. I'm just thinking that that button, the way it's anchored, it can float away. So I'll need to look at how that is anchored. I see the word settings overlaid just here, but it's not showing. Is it not showing up there? Yeah, I can't see it up there. So interesting. I do want to make sure that this is not rendering in front of those ones. Okay, so what I want to do here is take a look at content. It's like that. Volume control is positioned just based on the top and stretched. Close button is positioned relative to the center, so let's put that instead. Go to the top right, perhaps. Let's put that there on the book. And I think that will do. I'll get all these menus a lot more polished up in the future, but I'm not too concerned with that right now. And then that should be hidden by default. Yep, so I'm just going to check that in as a commit here. And now let me move on with that. I'm going to load default settings. Game load or scene load. That's finished. There we go. And I'm just going to move this task here into the polish section, which is way down here somewhere apparently. There's polish. Yeah. It'd be nice if you would scroll for me when I'm getting to the bottom of the area. Okay. And I don't think I want that extra thing there. Okay, there we go. So that's gotten out of the way. So what I'll need for that is, do I want that to be in the game manager? Game manager is the main manager for the whole game. Let me just think a moment. What will I be doing with the save and load system? I'll basically just be using Unity's player settings to save some values, and I'll be loading them. Do I want a separate settings manager? Yeah, I think so. So let me create a new game object. Like so. Let's create a script here. Called settings manager. And I'll put that on there. And for some reason it doesn't want to. Oh, come on. Go to. then got around to compiling that script. Alrighty, now we have a settings manager, and that is exactly the place to load that volume control up. So I'll just grab that here. And there's a global setting that we're doing there. Just grab all of that. Oh, actually, yeah. Do want to do something there and start. Now we don't have that slider, so let's just set that to 0.5 because that is our default value on the slider, which we're going to load from player settings. That's not the right key shortcut. There. Introduce a constant. Right now, I guess that is our default volume. Actually, that makes sense as a serialized field here, maybe. Or I could add default volume. I could add it in my in here in the game settings as a default volume value. Yeah, game settings. Gotta have default volume here. And it's better like that. So this is just reading that volume from the default volume. And here we'll actually load that, but use the default if it's not present. I have moved it to somewhere where it will not be disabled. So that is done, and I don't think I have anything on update. And I don't think I need this default script little comment here. I really need to get my own templates in there. Although I've mentioned that in about the last 10 streams. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, it still feels really early. I probably should have got to sleep a bit earlier. Do I want anything else here? I think I have a feeling if I start continuing with this, I'll be going on to this a mean volume. Yeah, settings or volume. Is there any setting I have right now? So, yeah. Are there other settings that I want? I guess really the current level is a setting. Like, what other settings do I want? importantly, there is volume control. It would be nice to have the different volume for music and sound effects. Right now, got music, volume 0.3, sound effects, volume 0.8, which is, I think, a little high. But yeah, I think it'd be good in the settings here to have the settings button. Yeah, just in this settings dialog. It'd be good to have a few more elements here to help. Is this warning about the shader channel? Okay, so basically saying we don't probably need normal and tangent. Let's just turn those off because it sounds like needless busy work. Tangent apparently will not turn off. I can turn normal on. I can turn tangent off, but then I can't turn normal off. That's something to read into later. Right now, can I add? Let's see. What am I looking at here? We got settings dialog. Content with this volume control. That's really the master volume control, isn't it? And I'll create another object here. Turn this stuff under the close button up the top, since it is up the top. This will be add music toggle. What are my options here? I think we'll probably just go for a button that can be toggled on and off. So I don't need that nesting game object there. I think we have like active and not active state. Selected color. I think I can make this a toggleable button. So it can be on or off. So music. That's just the text. Let me grab that whole button. sort of arrange these higgledy-piggledy for now. Let's make sure that's anchored to the top. Close button, I think I'll anchor it at the top center like everything else, so just to make sure it moves with everything. Okay, and got to do something about these colors sometime. But the important thing is the click event here. Now, do I want... So I can have a script that just lives on this button, toggles music on and off, like I've got with the master volume. It has volume control. Good thing about them... I was about to say the good thing about this is I could make a generic script for toggling any audio source and then just put the appropriate audio source in there. Like this one. But then I was thinking, what do I do about in the settings manager script? If I want to have on load the music be enabled or disabled, that's going to be needing to talk to the settings manager. So both of them will need to talk to the settings manager for a specific volume setting. Unless that happens via the via those things. I might just draw this. So just grab a new layer on here. So I've got a few different elements here. We've got that main settings manager. All right, so that is going to probably handle save and load of settings. Then we've got the audio. A few audio. Audios? What are audio things called? Audio sources. And then we've got our settings dialog, which doesn't actually say it, it's the settings dialog. What? That's not how you spell settings. There we go, it never happened. With some buttons on here. And we've got that slider as well. So ultimately, who's going to drive the whole thing? Because we could have you click the button. Let's just do that in a color. You could say you click that button and that updates the audio source and tells the settings to update from a script here. Then when you load, this script would have to then also be updating that to the default and setting something in this button which may be on a disabled canvas. So that seems a bit wacky. Then if it was being driven from here, this was in charge of it, then on load, that would set that would be fine. And we probably couldn't set that directly because that might be disabled, but when this loads on start, this could read from the settings. Read the settings and just have this be the single source of truth that drives all of these. This could be single source of truth for the reference, and then each of these could read it. And they load. Maybe. Downside of that, this would have to make sure that it's reading, like that this is definitely loaded before it reads, so it's probably better if we go from here, flowing to updating that. But we could have a script on here and have it all just kind of work together. This one sends a message to that and that to update things. I don't know if I've made it any less confusing by doing this, but I think if we have the setting here that gets saved and loaded by the settings manager, then we could have this button just be linked to something here that will call the function and set it. And when it does set that, part of that would be, go save that. Another thing that can happen is it'll say go update that. And we also have like the state of this button, or similarly it would be the position of the slider. That will need to be updated to match whatever's in here. So it should be basically subscribed to an event on there. Callback being called. Oh, okay, so right now I don't think that's happening. Right, our settings manager, we're literally just doing this on start. There's nothing else that can happen. So let's make this thing responsible. Um, state. About the components. So we can make this a singleton with some public properties and with settings on there. Properties that can be set and subscribed to. We're not going to have a lot of things subscribing to those settings, but we definitely need something that's going to go and read those. So I guess we can give that a give it a master volume and that sort of at a default level. And Just setting up a property here. Now that's the start of a setup, but it's not all we want in here. But so setting that, but we also need to do this. And we also need to notify subscribers, which I haven't set up anything to do yet. I'm just wondering, do I actually want to set up a subscription system for this to use? Or would I be better off just hard coding things in here? There aren't going to be that many things. So I think it might be better just to grab that. Let's do I want to get the wait, who subscribes to Volume? Yes, it's just audio source. So each of those audio sources in our audio. And script sound effects. So put those two audio sources that we can use when I wire them up. So this one, we've got just the default audio listener volume. That's fine. Oh, it's supposed to be this. It's not actually loading from anywhere yet. Now I do want to make this a singleton. Let me just grab something else that's a singleton. All of that stuff. Just doing copy paste singletons in here. This project. There we go, because it's quick to set up and easy to understand. Okay. Oh, this takes ages to just wire things up. Alright, so we don't have subscribers there to notify. But master volume, that seems to be working. And what we want is some other things. So keep that with its field relay. I don't know, so we're also going to want music that loud. They're at 0.8, which I think is a bit loud. 0.7. Just for a default. Now we basically want similar to this for each of those others. So this instead of B, music volume. And we don't want to set audio listener volume. We want to set that music source. What's that? That's fine. Just whatever the style conventions are. It's all the same to me. All right, so this one's going to be sound effects volume. So I just copied that one instead of pasting that other one. Top. Okay, sound effects volume, and now this one. Sound effects source volume. So that should all sort of work to adjust those volumes. And save them. Now I need to have the muting of those. Just drop into a context where I can. So let's say someone mutes the music. I'll mute audio source. Says volume 0. Unmute restores original. Yeah. So basically, we can have a mute and unmute setting. So the only thing that has the mute in it. So we can pause as well. Yeah, I think mute is just going to be simpler. Cool. So I think we want just just a simple pool, please. There's going to be remind me, I just typed music instead of sound effects here. There we go, and it's going to be just the same, more properties. Should have done both of those. There. So just replace volume with muted. There we go. Got a couple more properties there that I can use to toggle mute on that. And I think on start, we just want to set everything appropriately. So I can probably trigger all of those just by going music muted equals music muted. And that should take my current value and just set it the same and trigger that whatever gets set it as whatever behavior happens on set. Or I could use the underscore private field. Kind of explain. All right. So I'll just put a comment here because that looks a bit weird. Now, so I've got that master volume, which is here. So I've got a default master volume here, so let's just do the same with that actually. Rather than do this, I could set them to other things if I want. That should ideally load all those from player settings, which will come when I've got the saving and loading going. Okay, so I think that's basically got everything I need for that to work. And now I just need to actually get in to this music button and have it talk to that. So yeah, I'll make a script for music button. Okay, it's these user settings, yeah. I feel like it would be better to have a generic button that you just configure with some generic script that you can just configure with a particular property or something. And maybe I can, now that I think of it. Let me just leave that one sitting there for the moment. But how much control do I have with those buttons with the Unity event system? So I've got my music toggle here. And if I were to take my settings manager as something in there, settings manager, I can take that music muted property. I can have this button set it hard coded to true or false, but not just getting the value straight out of it. Is there some way to have a Let's see, just in Unity, we got toggle button. Just see if there's a toggle. Apparently I need a UI toggle. Did I just miss that? No, it's looking. Let's have a look here. UI toggle. There's UI toggle. So this toggle, if I add the settings here and choose music, muted, like so. Still hard coded. Excuse me. So it's not really telling me. Looks like can I call a function with a value? There, this looks like a question that might get at the answer I'm looking for. Event value changed. Yeah, that's not. I suspect maybe there just is not a way. Maybe this. Anyway, it looks like what is the time? looks like I'm not finding a way to just have this behave in a nice friendly way where I can just have this call it with a, oh wait, that's what I need, isn't it? Okay, good. Yes, I just needed to select from the dynamic pool. So there, research complete. So that should actually work now as I wanted it to. Now I just need to make this toggle look how I want it to, which should be okay. We've got this label here, which is some text. It's not text match pro text, is it? Yeah, no, it's not. But why don't I just move this in here and get rid of that label. Now that is in the wrong position, so I'll just put it here instead. If I do that, then does resizing my toggle do that? Yes, it does. Good, okay, I can get rid of that there and call this music toggle. So this thing should be good like that. When I put it in the middle, it will stay in the middle. Make it a little bigger. Okay. So we can do music on off, possibly. Why is everything looking a little see-through or something there? It's just not quite as dark as that. Got a check mark. Can I make that a bit bigger as well? Apparently I can. Or, yeah. Good. Right up to there. Good. Gonna make it darker, okay. Nice. Okay, so I'll do that. It's now if I do this, yep, that's good. So music and does that. So I should be able to now just duplicate that to make a sound effects toggle. And we'll need to not live on the same line. We'll need to have a different label. It will need to be big enough to fit its label. And it will need to instead do sound effects muted. And something I think we don't have right now. These are not having their state set on or off. based on that master value, that master volume when they load. So I think that we'll need something for that. And I think I might need to use the same, have a script each, just because they're reading different properties out of the master volume, unless I have a way to configure the scripts with a specific property to select. So basically, the issue I have on this diagram is that when these are not enabled, I don't think the script will be able to set the state of those toggles. And I'm just realizing it might make more sense just to have one place that does that. So instead of having a script attached to every element, instead have this settings dialog, have a script on it, or here on the settings dialog content, but something that will go and update all of these buttons and toggles and things with their correct state. Yeah, so I think I will do that. I'll do a script, and it's going to be called settings dialog. And I think on enable, I think that's where we're going to want to do and ensure the state of all the inputs is correct. So we'll grab our toggles. And it's just called a toggle. So let's have a look. Get rid of those things. Toggle. Unity Engine UI toggle. Yep. So I want to read from that settings manager. Just instance. We want music muted. And we want to do the opposite of what that was just suggesting. And also, I think I might need to do the opposite of what I'm doing there. I think I might be muting when that's checked. Is on. So my options here anyway. Should I be doing something else? No, I think he's on. Looks good. All right, so music and sound effects getting muted, and this also could do the volume control thing. I'll leave that for now since it's already been controlled from the volume control script. Right. Now that should turn the music on and off if I've done everything I need to. It might just do it the wrong way around. The checkboxes may be checked when the music is muted rather than when the music is on. I just change the labels for now to say mute music, mute sound effects. Be nice to have the inverse though. Oh, we paused. Yeah, I think I just have wired some things up here. So first thing, this settings dialog. I haven't put that script on it yet. And then in that script, let's just move that up to the top. There we go. In here we need those toggles. So music toggle is there. Sound effects toggle here. And in settings manager, we don't have those audio sources. So audio, background music, and sound effects sources. Now that could be everything connected up now. And I need to check what time I had for my stream to finish today because I feel like this should be about time to wrap up based on how much other stuff I have on today. And based on the fact that my brain does not appear to be in good working order right now, we have paused null reference exception on enable here. It's just settings dialog. It's line 14, so it's right here. So it could be music toggle or it could be settings manager.instance. Settings manager should create. Oh, yeah, I've got a settings manager here. Settings manager. Calling instance on settings manager. Okay, it gets created on awake. Gets set on awake. So are we calling this too early? Okay, what is the life cycle for awake and enable? Basically, I think I might be calling on enable might be being called before awake is being called. And so here we go. I mean, this suggests that awake should be called first. Should have awake being called, then on enable being called. That's in editor, so that. Start is called. See, I do want this to update anything that might have changed since the last time that the script was enabled. Yeah, so does it call all of the awakes and then all of the on enables or not? Is on enable calling before awake? Someone had that issue. Seems like people have, yes. That's what we were just looking at there. There we go. This, I think, is the relevant part. Thermal fusion here says what the chart doesn't explain is how executions of this are ordered between objects. One way you could interpret it is if it will always call all awakes before all on enables. And as you notice, this is not the case. So what it actually does, and I guess really that's probably, is it doing initialize on each object, then doing the resets, then doing starts. Or is this just a logical grouping for developer understanding purposes? So here we've got awake and on enable on the first object, then awake and on enable on the second object, and then start on one object and start on another object. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Yeah, so basically what's happening here is that although on enable is called after awake, clearly this awake and then on enable are being called on settings dialog before either have been called on settings manager. So I do basically want private modifier that's already private. So what I think I want is start. Yeah. And I want that to do my behavior of these things. And I also want a here. Start and return. And do some stuff. And yeah, I guess just start, then enable. So it'll fire on start, and then after that, it will fire on enable. So start says started true and calls this the first time. And then from then on, every on enable will call it. That should fix that issue. Fingers crossed. Very, very tired morning this morning. If I can get this task out of the way so that next time I can jump straight into a save and load, that'll be good. Okay, so it looks like those have turned off. Kind of meaning not muted. Okay, music is off. On. Sound effects we can't actually see. So let's leave that muted. We'll grab a debug canvas on here, and it's going to stop me seeing the settings. Anyway, so I'll turn off that. Okay, sound effects. We have sound effects. Now I'll do that, and no sound effects. Cool. So turn them back on. Yep, we got sound effects. So can I invert that? I wonder, let's have a look at those toggles. There's the music toggle. Is it possible to do the inverse of that? What's this? An inverted toggle event. Interesting, it's like an inverse one. You don't do it without a script. Yeah, I mean, just write a script. Rather than doing that though, I was shown on that. I think what I want to do here really is just get my settings manager to have the inverse thing possible. So basically here, an advantage of properties is I can actually have a property like the opposite of this if I want. So I can have music like unmuted, and it's just not music, and it's the opposite of that. And then same for sound effects. I can just make property, and these can both exist at the same time. There's the unmuted one. And then that all still works the same in here, but I've just got a different thing that I can hook it onto. So now I can jump into that dialog, grab that toggle. There. And instead of music muted, we can have that instead controlling music unmuted. And this one can control sound effects unmuted. And we should be all good. Although now I think I need to update a script, otherwise I'm going to have some weird stuff going on. Sound effects, are they on? I need to adjust this debug canvas so the regenerate button is in a better place so I can still use settings. Sound effects are on. Checked that. Still on. Open it again and now they're off. I'm getting weird behavior because of that's triggering all of those to work. Let's see, that's just doing that. Yeah, it's just this one here. That toggle is on, should be on for music unmuted. Yeah. Muted there. So that it matches that toggle. It was doing weird things there with flipping the value. Feels like time to go back to bed after this. Oh, it's the weekend too. I was thinking, okay, I better get started with day job. Okay, music and sound effects on according to that. I forgot to. I've pressed that button. That should have regenerated a level. Yeah. Just to kick it off. Okay, music and sound effects both on. Turn off sound effects. Yep, sound effects are not happening. Got the level wrong too. Wasn't actually looking at where those go. Okay, music off, sound effects on. Yes. this work? Must be this way. This level progression's working nicely. That is clearly meant to go that way. But this is wrong, isn't it? Because that can't be that parent. Here we are. This is much more fun now that I've got the trees being generated properly. So, that's cool. Cool. Okay, I'm going to call that finished. This one. And I'm going to mute for 1 second. Oh, apparently, oh, I have a dialogue there. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to wrap that up for sure. Oh, yeah, debug canvas. Let me just fix that so that I'll hide the settings dialog and I'll just fix that debug canvas so this regenerate button is not in the way of the settings button. So I'll just put it over here. That'll do for now. And hide that for the purpose of this. Save projects, make sure all these are saved, make a commit. Getting some knocks on the door. And saying I would open it soon was not enough. Let's see if that worked. All right, and I think all of that is good. Bunch of stuff here. So basically this is multiple changes in one, but I won't bother splitting it up. Yeah, so and new music and sound effects. I'll just do it here. I'll call it open close. So it's clear. All right, and I will get a build of that made and pushed out today with the main menu enabled so that it's possible to actually start a game. Otherwise it'll be a bit useless. But I'm going to finish the stream before that because running a build tends to kill the stream. So thank you so much for watching. I will be back next time to work on the save and load system. And we're getting pretty close to the end of the prototyping phase. Yeah, thanks for watching. I've been me, David from PhotoPixel. And yeah, go check out the game at just this URL here. You'll find it under Merge People, unless I've renamed it to Family Tree.